Do you know how rare it is that you're actually on this planet right now? Do you know that your very presence and your being here is a complete miracle? Do you realize how much has had to play out in such specific and detailed ways of your history in order for you to be here right now? It is incomprehensible. For this reason alone, I need you to know that your presence here in this third dimensional reality on this planet is required. The world simply would not exist the same way without you in it. You are not here to compete with anyone. No one can compete with your unique essence. You're not here to compete, you are here to create. Create through who you uniquely are and what you uniquely have to offer the world. You have a place on this earth for a reason. You belong here. You belong because you are. You belong because you exist. I spent the majority of my life questioning why I'm even here, questioning what the purpose of me being here was, and having this deep internal sense that if I wasn't here anymore, maybe only then people would realize that I ever existed in the first place. I spent so much of my life feeling like I was here by accident, of feeling like my very existence was a complete mistake. And that's why I'm sitting here in front of you today with an incredibly powerful message, because it is my deep desire that you don't waste so many years and decades of your life dwelling in self-doubt or questioning yourself or feeling deprived of your own essence. I truly feel that each and every one of us is here for a very specific reason. Our presence, our essence, our gifts, our unique being is absolutely required in the world as it is right now. This video is here to help you reclaim your right of being here and to help you reclaim everything that you have the potential to be and become, and to accept everything that you are in this moment. When I was 12 years old, I remember feeling this deep internal separation from the bubbly, vibrant, outgoing little girl that I was at home, and then the socially anxious, chronically deprived, dwelling in self-doubt person that I was when I went to school. It's like as soon as I left the door of my home, I had to put on this mask. I had to pretend to be someone else. I had to go into hiding. And after years and years of feeling this disconnect and this separation and really loving my home life and then absolutely hating my school life, it really reached its peak. I was 12 years old and I remember being in the last class of the day and I was overwhelmed with this sensation of I shouldn't be here. And I just felt in every fiber and cell of my being that I didn't belong. I felt completely disconnected from reality, to be honest with you. And this one day, as soon as that school bell rang, I ran home, I ran straight upstairs and I grabbed my journal and I grabbed my pen and I wrote in capital letters across the top of the page, "Universe, make me fit in." In that moment of desperation, something miraculous happened, and I'll never forget it. I heard this voice that spoke to me and said, "Emma, there is a version of you that exists that isn't in this pain. You just need to find her." In that moment, I realized that I had two voices in my head. I had the voice of my inauthentic, contracted self that was saying, "Why are you even here? What's your purpose for being here? It would be better for you to just not be here." And then I had the voice of an authentic version of myself, an expanded version of myself, and I felt it in my being that said, "You can, you will, you are, you get to become." I chose to let that voice be the leading energy, the authentic voice. I realized that these two voices in my head meant that I only had one choice. Which voice was I going to listen to? Every time I felt that self-doubt and that shyness and that contraction come up, I would also know that there is another voice available to me, the voice of my expanded self, my authentic self, my self that I feel like I'm actually here to discover. And through consistently listening to that other voice, and it led me into one choice after another choice after another choice, it hit me like a lightning bolt. I realized that I'd become her. I'd become the version of myself that I saw, that I felt, that I knew was available to me when I was that 12-year-old girl. I looked back at that 15-year journey and what it took to become her. And I want to share how I went from that version of myself to this version of myself. I am so in love with life. I am so engaged with life. I feel like I am fully choosing to be here. In every moment, my feet are planted in this reality. There is no more questioning of my purpose for being here, my reason for being here. There's none of that doubt or anything running through my brain anymore. And so I want to share with you how I was able to do this and how I was able to stay tapped into a vision of myself before I'd even met her, before I'd even become her. And hopefully this will maybe inspire you. The fundamental truth of reality is that we live in a reality where infinite potentialities exist. In the field of consciousness, we have all possibilities available to us. And this is something that quantum physics researches and explores. Everything you want already exists. It's already created in the field. It's already done. That version of you that you can sense, that you can feel, that's happy, fulfilled, successful, loved, that version of you already exists. You don't need to be in separation from that version of you. And this is the process of actually becoming that version of you, is you need to entangle with it in the now, in the present. This is your responsibility in your life. This is your role here. This is your honor. This is your sacred contract, that you get to consciously entangle with an alternate reality, with whatever it is that you desire for your life. If you haven't already, I highly encourage you to go watch my video. Your life will change fast when you apply this. I speak a little bit deeper and further into the quantum physics behind entanglement and superposition. But you need to understand that you observe your reality into being. What you place your attention on, what you place your focus on, is what you will experience. When I was that 12-year-old girl, and I had that voice come through to me that said that there was a version of myself that existed that wasn't in this pain, that's when I became connected with her. Before I even had the circumstantial evidence, I had the ability to become her with all of the successes that come with it and the internal fulfillment. I trusted it, I could sense it, I could feel it. And this is the process of entanglement. Through the observer effect, the act of focusing on your future self before it becomes manifest in the physical reality is how you collapse that future self from wave into particle, from nothing into something. It's how you collapse that possibility into your reality. Before I became her, I thought as her, I observed as her, I behaved like her, I decided like her, I acted like her. I became her in the now. And something that I do on a daily basis, and I've shared this on my social media platforms for the last 10 years, is every single morning I get myself into an entanglement practice. Essentially what this is I use music, movement, and visualization to be in the energy of what it is that I want to draw unto me, to be in the energy of the next version of myself, to be in the energy of the result that I want to create for myself. For me personally, music just helps give me that feeling. I've always loved music. I used to be a dancer, so I've always loved dance. I love the feeling that music gives me in my body. And I find that using music and sound to activate that future version of myself is the quickest way for me to get into that state. So I will find a song and I'll make what I call a creation playlist, and I listen to that playlist on repeat, and then I introduce movement. I go for a walk every morning and I listen to the music, and as I'm walking and as I'm moving, I'm shifting my posture as the person that I'm becoming. The way I breathe, the way I speak, the way I look at the world and interact with the world. I shift that into who I want to become. And then I visualize. I see myself as that person. And I'll see myself in very specific memories. The key to becoming that future version of yourself is not to keep it vague, but to get really specific with it. It is safe to get specific. It is safe to get detailed. So I use the movement, music, visualization technology, which I called getting in the Z zone, as my way of entangling with what it is that I want to create next. So the key to transforming your life and becoming that version of you is entangling with that reality in the now through your thought, your feeling, and your action. It's also through staying tapped in. I don't want you to tap out of this. You have to hold that vision. Even when you have that other voice, that inauthentic voice that says, who are you to do that? Why would you do that? Should you do that? Just stay where you are. Stay comfortable. Every time you hear that voice, the voice gets to be there. It's okay that the voice is there. You don't need to make that voice disappear in order to take action as your future self. You don't need to make that voice disappear in order for you to think and move and feel as that future self. All of it can coexist. What it comes down to is you choosing which voice are you going to listen to? Which voice are you going to let be the leading energy in your life? Because I had those two voices in my head that entire 15-year journey. It wasn't that my inauthentic voice, my contracted voice just suddenly disappeared and then I could only listen to the authentic voice. No, I had the fear. I had the doubt. I still felt the contraction, but I shifted my focus to what if? What if? What if it's possible for me to create something different? What if it's possible for me to meet the love of my life? What if it's possible for me to build a business of my dreams? What if it's possible for me to love myself? What if it's possible for me to create the body of my dreams that I feel so fulfilled and happy in? So I just kept shifting my focus and choosing to listen to the voice that I felt was in aligned with the version of me that I wanted to become, but also I didn't drop it. Every time I felt myself slightly shift into that other voice, I said, straight back in. We know where we're going. I'm staying tapped in. So the other key here is that you have to become the evidence of your future self before your circumstances reflect that. We know how creation works by now. We know that there is a buffer between what you think, feel, and act as, and then how your circumstances mold and match that in your third dimensional reality. When it comes to manifesting the bigger things in life, like a new identity, new financial position, new partnership, sometimes these things can take longer. Sometimes these things can take time because firstly, you might be very much in separation to it. You might have worked so tirelessly and relentlessly for the first half of your life, creating this identity that doesn't allow you to have that, or to be that, or to experience that. So there might be a little bit more of a gradual process where you're gradually letting go of the stories and the narratives of your current identity so that the new identity can be formed and therefore your external reality can become a match to that. There's something so beautiful and sacred about staying committed before the physical evidence of it. When you can stay committed to your vision, that future self, the results you want for your life, without having any physical evidence that it's going to happen, that it's going to work out, that it's signed, sealed, and delivered, that means that you have to put your full trust and faith in the process. You have to put your full trust and faith in God. And that level of commitment, that is sacred. Oh, I feel it in my body, that is sacred. Clarify what it is you're going for. Clarify that version of yourself you know exists in the field already. Start to think as them, feel as them, behave as them, decide as them, act as them. Remember that your current reality is not a fixed reality, it is malleable. You observe your reality into being. You collapse your reality from possibility into reality, from potentiality into actuality. You collapse it from waveform into particle form, and all you've got to do is make sure you keep focusing on it. You do not drop that focus. Your focus and attention creates your reality. And once you do that, I guarantee you that life will change as a result. It has to. It is law. It's inevitable. It is law. And I have a feeling that you probably know what this process is anyway. So the real question is, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you staying committed to it? I want you to take my personal story of the two voices, one choice, into your own experience moving forward. I want you to see how that story and my experience can be inspiration or an invitation for you to do the same. I really, really want you to walk away from this video today feeling like you can make a change, feeling like the fear can exist and you can still walk forward as your future self. The doubt can exist and you can still have unwavering confidence that you'll figure it out as you go. The confusion can exist and you can tell yourself, I'm on the journey of clarity. And I know that the universe, God, source will continue revealing the details to me as I go along. All I need to do is have complete and utter faith and trust in what I'm here to be, who I'm here to become, and what is meant for me to experience in this lifetime. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.